I
busy
know,
with
like, oh my
the
gosh.
new stuff that we're going through.
Yes.
So it's been kind of crazy. But
I
all
know.
good.
I know.
It is.
Well, we are live again.
Yay.
Y'all getting all of me today.
That's awesome. I know I caught you on Instagram a little while ago. I was like, oh,
I saw that. I was like, oh. I love it. I'm so excited about all the things.
Yes.
Ashley here again with Marina. Yay! One of the ladies that I started this caregiving advocacy journey. You know, we started down this road together. And we actually have the same business coach, and we launched our businesses on the same day.
Yes,
launch sisters. So it's been a wild ride, I'll say. You know, I cared for my husband. You had cared for your grandmother, and you know those caregiving. I don't ever say that they end. I think we just kind of pivot as far as our caregiving journey goes.
So true.
Because early this year, I had to start taking care of my grandpa. Even though I thought I was putting my hat, like my caregiver hat up, end up having to help take care of my grandpa. And then, you know, now you're having to help with your husband. So, well, I totally, I hear you. I heard that sigh. I get it. It's hard. And, you know, that's why, and I know you're an author too. So, you know, the whole, what goes behind, you know, writing the book and then launching it, you know, getting people to buy into what you have written, you know, and us as caregivers, it's so hard because we have to be vulnerable. Our stories are so, like, we keep it under wraps and behind closed doors, right?
Definitely. Yeah. And I feel like this time around, like I'm sharing my story with a lot more people just because I've learned from my past, you know, experience in caring for my grandma. And now it's like people have information to share. And if they don't know, unless you're like, hey, this is what's going on with me. And they give you tips, and it's, it's good to share. Get it out there, get it off your heart and share with all the people.
Yeah.
And I mean, so many people going through this, and, you know, it's important just so that they know they're not alone, because it's scary and overwhelming and all the things.
Right. And why do you think we as caregivers do that? Why do you think we tend to like just hold it in?
That's a good question. I don't know if it's maybe not necessarily shame, but maybe like the feeling that, you know, we can do it all and we don't need outside help. But we all know that, you know, if we try to do it all, we know where that gets us. So, I feel like for me, this time around is different. So, as you know, I was caring for my grandmother who had dementia for about 10 years. I was one of her primary caregivers. I was kind of sharing the duties with my mom, and then she actually passed away in September. So just like you said earlier, you know, you find yourself hanging up that caregiving hat, and then it's like, you know, God has different plans. So, and I had shared with you and some other folks that my husband was diagnosed with stage 4 esophageal cancer, which was kind of a pretty big hit to the gut. It's like, you know, it's something that you're not expecting. And then it's like, oh my goodness, this is scary. This is a lot of information to process. And I've been sharing it with a lot more people, joined different support groups on Facebook, and it's just like, you just realize that you're just not alone, which is so important. There's so more people going through this than I thought.
Yeah, definitely. So. You're so right about that. It wasn't, I'm getting my words all twisted up because I remember going back initially to when Troy was first diagnosed. Honestly, searching for a Facebook support group wasn't the first thing that I thought of. And going back, you know, and thinking back about that time, I wish I would have. Because I think I would have had more questions answered, and I wouldn't have felt so silly. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, no, it totally does.
silly.
Because you go through all of the emotions. Like first it's like shock, like what? And then you're like, oh my gosh, just start asking all the questions. What about this? What about this? And then it's just I felt like I was on a roller coaster. And like for the first 2 weeks, like I'm like, this doesn't feel real. I'm like, this is not happening.
Right.
So yeah, we're kind of at a point now. It's been, gosh, maybe about 3 weeks. And now I feel, it's real. We're going through it, and this is what we're doing. So it's just hard. You have to just take it day by day and not worry about, what tomorrow's going to bring, or, all the what ifs, because you can get so caught up in that. And I think this time around too, I'm a lot more aware of like when I start getting to that point of like, burnout city, where I'm, cynical and not very nice to people. And I'm like, okay, take a step back and like, let's reset. Obviously I need some time. So I think that's been, key this time around, just not trying my hardest not to get to that burnout point.
Yeah. And well, you basically answered my next question. What were you doing differently and I know this is so recent, so I didn't expect you to have an answer, but what was so different with, caring for your grandmother versus now, when you've gathered tools to kind of help you with burnout, avoiding it, or curbing the effects.
Well, first of all, knowing you for sure, because you've given me such great information. We talk about burnout, quite a bit, and I'm like, okay, well, like that's what I was experiencing. Like I think with my grandma, like I didn't realize it until after the fact that that's what I was experiencing, and now this time I'm like trying not to, like I said, think too far into the future, and I'm like, okay, let's take it one day at a time. Like if I need a day of rest, like that's what I'm gonna do. So it's kind of tuning in and just like, I don't know, just recognizing it sooner, I think has been key.
And I think just breathing sometimes, like just trying to catch your breath.
Yeah. Yes. I know. I was in Safeway earlier shopping, racing around, trying to get stuff. And I was like, I got to take this mask down. Like I'm out of breath. So just like stopping and like resetting is sometimes just, all you need just to get your mind right. And like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah. And that comes with time. This isn't your first like rodeo per se. It's just a different path, a different part of your journey. But I've told you multiple times, like, I don't know how you did, you cared for someone with dementia. That's probably my biggest prayer as my mom gets older. Like, please, God, keep her sanity, keep her mind. Because I have such a huge heart for dementia caregivers, and what you had to have gone through, I can't even wrap my mind around it. And the people that I've had to care for have had cancer, which has its own crap. Like, let's be honest, it has its own crap.
As I'm learning, I'm like, okay, I'm learning a lot more about it than I ever thought I would need to know.
All the stories that you told me, I was just always in awe. And I think one time I was literally like, what?
I know.
I think that's what's so important about each caregiver telling their stories, because we're caring for different types of, diseases, illnesses, whatever, however you want to classify it. And it needs to be told in that person's way so that you can help, someone.
Totally.
I'm just, hey, if I can just help one, I'm happy.
Yeah.
And your book is called Dancing with Dementia, correct?
Yes.
And just even the title, like you give some kind of light to it. Like, obviously we know dementia's hard, but unless you've lived through it, like I have never. So I can only imagine from, reading your book, which is what I'm hoping will happen when people read mine.
Yeah, I'm so excited to get it. I can't wait.
Yes, it's in the air. It's somewhere.
That's awesome. Okay.
It's somewhere. It's on its way to you, girl.
That's awesome. I'm so excited.
But yeah, definitely for everybody that's tuning in or that will watch the replay, definitely I'll drop the link in so you can get your book. And I'm super excited about whoever's going to read it and share it. You know, I've said a couple times today throughout my lives that you never know whose life you can change with just a simple share, with just a simple like. You know, I had a friend that shared my post to one of her friends that I'm not friends with. And I got to meet this lady and I took a book to her because she bought one yesterday before her vacation this weekend. And she was just, I've never met this lady before, but she was pouring her heart out to me on her porch about her story and how much when she was reading the back of my book and she was like, wow, like this girl's story is almost like mine. And awesome. She lives 10 to 15 minutes away from me. She was like, I have to have it. And had my friend not shared that post, maybe she might not have known that someone within 10 to 15 minutes of her lived almost the same thing.
It's crazy. That's so awesome.
So you just don't know. And that's why, you know, I tell people, please engage, please share, please like, do what you can. It's free.
Sharing is caring, for sure.
It's literally caring, seriously. So it's very you know, appreciated, and I just can't wait to see who gets Lost Travel Found, and I can't wait for the feedback.
I know. I've just like heard, you know, bits and pieces of your story, like from time just like in talking and, you know, and getting to know you over the last year. So I'm excited to hear the whole story from beginning to end and, you know, to see where you are now. So I know that, I mean, gosh, like I think about like a year ago where we were like, you know, just starting to get our message out. And I think back to like that initial call, because it was funny because we were both working with our business coach and then kind of side by side. And then we had one call where we came together and I was like, this girl's doing kind of the same thing that I am. So it was awesome.
She had never mentioned that. Like, oh yeah, like, you know, the other girl here, Marina, she's a caregiver too. Like,
yeah,
what? Added that part in there. Like, we've been friends way longer before now. But, you know, and that's, you know, I think that's just the universe, God speaking and putting people in your life.
Yeah.
You know, for us both to finally take that leap with her and walk this path. And then I got to meet you. And
and like when I heard my husband, like his first, like when he first got diagnosed, like you were one of the very first people that I thought of. I was like, oh my gosh, like she's been through pretty much the same thing. So I think I even like reached out to you that first like couple of days. I was like, I'm gonna be asking questions, so just so you know. But I think like you said, you know, just sharing your story and getting it out there, like you never know who you're gonna touch. Like, did I ever think that like my husband was gonna have cancer? No, but I mean, here we are, and I've learned so much like over the last year just from like you and Miriam, and had I not met you guys, like I don't know if I would be able to go through this with like the same kind of frame of mind. So thank you.
Oh no, absolutely. That's what I set out to do. It's just that Timeless Dream events and now Lost Travel Found is the vehicle that's taking me to there to share and help and grow and learn. But you know, I'm very thankful for everyone that's gone live with me today, and I just want to, you know, let you know again, I'm thankful for you.
I'm thankful for you too.
You know, Marina, it's hard, and I get it. I totally, truthfully get it.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm trying to build this platform. You know, I wrote this book for is to help those that are in the situation because even though you've been a caregiver once before, it's still hard, but at least now you have the tools and the cognizance of like, girl, you need to chill because you talk to your mama all the way wrong. Not that you actually did.
I did actually though. Like that's a true story. Like we were in the grocery store. Actually, it was probably like 2 weeks ago, and she's like, "Okay, let's go get stuff, for your husband." His name's Tom. So she's like, "All right, let's go get him like milk and this and that." And she's like, I was pushing the cart, and she's like, "Oh, what about this? What about this?" And I'm like irritated because I'm like, "Let's just go." Right. And she puts it in she's like, "What?" Like, give me the 2 milk options. I'm like, "Just put it in the cart." And then I was like, "Oh, whoa, that was like not very nice." So I ended up apologizing to her for that. So it's real. You just have to recognize. And I was like, you know what? It's not you. It's this situation that I'm in. So
right.
Yeah, just being aware. Being aware of it is the first step. So
all caregivers go through that. Mm-hmm. And my prayer is that I hope caregivers have someone that gives them the grace that they deserve and they need in those moments, because I was just talking with a couple fellow caregivers, and we were just talking about how we try to sugarcoat what we go through, because someone says, "Well, how are you doing? How's Tom doing?" You don't want to sit there and be like, "Girl, he threw up all over himself, and I had to clean it up." And then lead him to the bathroom to tell him to get in the shower because he could barely stand up to do it himself. Yeah. No one wants to hear that. They want to hear, "Oh, Tom's good. He's receiving his chemo just fine, or radiation, whatever it's going to be. Oh, he's doing just fine. I'm taking him to and from and still working and da-da-da." That's what they want to hear. Yeah. They want to hear the...
And that's what I was like saying earlier. It's almost like the shame. You feel, you're like, I don't want to share those, like, you want to stay positive and upbeat about the whole thing. And it's like, that's like not reality all the time. Like, yeah, like we spend a lot of time doing other things, and it's, every day. Sorry, I have just got bit by something. Every day is different. And, you just have to take it kind of one step at a time instead of getting too far into the what ifs and into the future, because you don't know what's going to happen.
You really don't. You're absolutely right. We don't know what's going to happen.
Like, I just got to be here and now and today and deal with whatever's on my plate today. And then tomorrow, sun rises again and here we go.
Right. Exactly. So but I think caregivers can be so resilient, and, but we also need to learn to implement those self-care practices.
Oh, yes.
That's so necessary for us to keep our sanity, to, keep us going.
Yeah.
Because, if you're not taking care of yourself and your body, then who's going to take care of Tom? That's kind of how I thought about with my husband. That kind of started to yank me out of this whole, I got to take care of Troy, thinking, because if I'm neglecting myself, I'm not going to my own doctor's appointments. I could end up in the bed right next to him at the hospital.
So true. So true. Yeah.
It's just always important to remember, anybody remember your self-care, but specifically caregivers, because of us having to care for another person's body.
Yeah. And one thing that's been helping me a lot, like kind of process everything and get through these first couple of weeks, I've been writing a lot more than I normally do. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to die now.
You got another book?
Yeah, probably 2.0.
We gotta have a book launch party.
Yeah, so I've been just beginning to end. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm feeling, and then I can go back, and I'm like, okay, like I'm like not as crazy as I thought I was, and it's just like having it all written down and just getting it out. I'm like, I need to get it out of my head, off of my heart, and it is what it is. So.
Yep. Exactly. And you just, like I said, you never know who that story is going to touch. You honestly don't. So it's very important to get it out. And definitely I have dropped the link for Lost Travel Found.
Are you in the comments? Let me see. Oh, there you are. Yes. There
also, go find Dancing with Dementia.
Yes.
And get that, especially because I know there are a few that have told me in the caregiver group that they are dementia caregivers.
Oh, okay.
So please,
I'll put the link there.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. And definitely go ahead and grab that while you're getting Lost Travel Found. Might as well get 2 for 1.
Yeah, right. Actually, little beach reading.
Yeah, and actually Amazon has a deal going on right now. If you buy 3, you buy 3 for the price of 2 or something. So
there you go.
Might as well go ahead and just get a 3rd one while you're at it. Get Caregiver 2.0. Get Miriam's book. Hey,
I've been excited to read hers too.
Caregiver 2.0, Dancing with Dementia, Lost Travel Found. I mean,
get them all. Get them all.
Just get them all for the price of 2. See, bam, done.
Little summer reading. Why not?
Yeah,
reading though is
been. I'm actually going to put that. So,
I'm trying to find my link.
Found Dancing
through dementia.
Excuse me, Dancing Through.
That's okay.
Dementia.
I gotta find my link and then I'll drop it in there.
And there it is. Caregiver.
So, and mine's a super quick read. It's just an ebook, and it just has, some tips and tricks on what people can do, and if they're in certain situations, and talks a little bit about kind of the things that, I don't know if I can put a comment in here, but maybe I'll post it later. I don't think I can comment.
Yeah, post it later because for some reason maybe my comments aren't even going through. I don't know.
No, I can see.
You can? Okay.
Yeah, I'll put it in there later. So
yeah, put it in there.
Awesome.
But yeah, definitely. I'm going to hop and skip over to Instagram.
Yes. I'll catch you over there.
Yeah, at 6:30 p.m. So in about 7 minutes, I'll be talking to Sarah Cobb from My Grief Connection.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And at 7 p.m., I'll be back on Facebook with Quentin and Brianna Baker from Resilient Love. And then 8 p.m., I'll be on Facebook again for the main event with our lovely lioness.
Awesome.
So, yes, I'm so excited for everything.
Thank you. This has been awesome. Thank you so much for having me on. It's always so good to connect with you. So,
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, and congratulations.
Thank you. All right.
Well, I will
take care. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.